just have to set the scene कि भाई एक बंदा है, चार गुंडे, बंदे को मार, बस. That is.
Why do you come up with such examples even in a design sprint?
But just an example, right?
Hello guys, welcome back to yet another episode of the BNB podcast. Today I have with me Harshal. Hello Harshal.
Hi Janki.
How are you?
Well, always nice to be seated next to you. It's a pleasure.
The feeling is mutual.
Okay.
Today we are sitting together to talk about the most beloved topic, which is design sprints and workshopping. We tried to do this back in 2021
Yeah.
to shoot a podcast speaking about the same topic, and we are back today after a long wait to share more juice about it. So stay tuned and to learn the basics and the foundation about what design sprints are, what workshopping is, and where can you use it.
Yeah.
So, Harshal, can we start with understanding a little bit about design sprints, its history, its roots, where did it start from?
Uh, from from what I know, and since I've been obsessing about it, I guess design sprint as its origin comes from Google, which later was commoditized at Google Ventures. But in 2012 or 13, I guess the first Medium article about uh, the design sprint process, like that was the first time the world was introduced to the process that hey, this is something that we are doing to get our creative juices flowing, and maybe getting more access to data faster than we think has been possible so far. And that was 2013. Google then took that process and plugged it into Google Ventures. And Jake Knapp started it like in 2012-13. He was a guy who was working at that point, which today is Google Meets. So he and some of the folks ran their first design sprints in Scandinavian office of headquarters of Google. 5 years they kept on running it across Google and its ecosystem, and then Google decided, okay, why not take this and plug it into Google Ventures, where we validate a lot of products, young startups, and see what are worth investing. So once it was kind of more repeatable and scalable, I guess the book came out in 2016 or 17. I guess Google Sprints as a book, so which we have on the table. Sprints came out, and I picked it up in 2020. And yeah, that's the story of design sprints. It comes from Google Ventures. It's a recipe, which is like Google Ventures is designed around the main theme, right? The theme is to learn more faster, whether it's from your customers, whether it's about your business model, whether it's about your strategy, whether it's about the product itself. So it's a recipe to learn more faster. That's design sprints.
So, Harshal, you said that design sprint is a process, it's a recipe. So, can you just provide a high level overview of what that recipe is or how that process looks like?
Okay. So design sprint, I guess nahi, it's a reality. Design sprint is a 5 day workshop. It's a recipe that is a mixture of strategy, so business strategy, design, product design, and marketing, all cooked together to create a dish which eventually allows a group of people, this could be product teams, business teams, or individuals, uh, who are wanting to come together as a group and ideate around a problem space and come up with a solution that can be tested with potential user groups to get a clear yes or no answer, okay, whether we should be proceeding in this direction or not. So that's what it is. In 5 days, you go from idea to data. Like as we earlier said, Google Ventures, the entire theme is to learn more faster. So if you want to learn about whether this is the right thing to do or not, or whether this is the right set of problem you should be ideating around, or whether this is the right business model, anything and everything you want to validate, the best and the most stickiest and the most fastest format is design sprint. It's a 5 day workshop. On Monday, you start from Monday, Tuesday are mostly about strategy, so setting business goals and some hypothesis. Wednesday is mostly about solutioning and mapping the entire experience, that how someone will experience the product, or how will someone, what are the key touch points of the product or business or service or anything in general. And then Thursday is prototyping. Prototyping could also be a product. एक digital product हो सकता है, एक physical product हो सकता है. It can be also for a D2C brand. It could be even brand packaging. It could be even a sales deck. कुछ भी हो. It could be a Thursday is a visual representation of everything you have done from Monday to Wednesday, and Friday you test it with real people. So in 5 days, real people, as in of course real users who are going to experience the product, service, or the business.
Okay.
And you then make a now decision backed by data. So rather than simply going by gut, like for you to have a very strong gut about whether ये business चलेगा या नहीं चलेगा, you have to have years of experience ताकि वो आपका gut develop हो, या you need to have experts around you. अगर वो ना हो तो I guess design sprint is that.
Okay. क्या मैं ये प्रोसेस को अगर मेरे पास कोई नई चीज शुरू कर रहा है तभी ही यूज कर सकते हैं? What if I already have a product?
Yeah.
So can you dive a little bit deeper in both the context of whether if I'm starting something new from ground zero as compared to I already have something and I want to move forward?
Yeah, I guess there are two approaches, right? For every business, or where everything can be grouped into two situations. Either you are in a fuzzy state, or either you are in a very defined and clear state. Fuzzy, जैसे you said, right? कि आपको you've had enough. Example, you've had enough, और आपको एक business opportunity explore करनी है. और या तो आपको एक इंडस्ट्री अच्छी लग रही है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू आर इंट्रिग्ड अबाउट wellness, or you are intrigued about consumer electronics. So you want to explore. अभी आपको पता नहीं है कि उसमें क्या है exactly, but आपको explore करना है कि क्या यहाँ एक business potential है. तो yes, design sprint is the best. Yeah, you simply have to take 2 to 3 experts from that industry, schedule a 5-day workshop, which is a design sprint, and plug it. At the end of the workshop, you'll have what are the potential opportunities for you that you can pursue further. तो ये हो गया fuzzy state. फिर जैसे आपने बोला, you already have a product, right? But now वो एक product stagnant पे आ चुका है, या तो you already identify कि ये product में कुछ problems है जिसको fix करने से we could have more users, or we could be making more revenue, या we could do more sales. Whatever it is, design sprints are best when the problem is very big enough, because ये बहुत important है समझना कि वहाँ आप नहीं हो सिर्फ, एक आपकी पूरी टीम आ रही है, लाइक 5, 6, 7, 8 लोग, और उनका एक हफ्ता ब्लॉक आउट करना. तो आप प्रॉब्लम की ग्रेविटी समझो. द प्रॉब्लम हैज टू बी रियली बिग इनफ टू बी प्लगिंग इनटू अ डिजाइन स्प्रिंट, बिकॉज आप वहां गोल सेटिंग कर रहे हो, आप वहां कुछ हाइपोथेसिस बना रहे हो, वहां एक आपका एक्सपीरियंस मैप बन रहा है, वहां आपकी प्रोटोटाइपिंग हो रही है. तो इट कैन नॉट बी अ स्मॉल थिंग. इट हैज टू बी यूजुअली एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ एवरीथिंग. एंड आइडियली ऐसा होता है जब आप कुछ नया चालू करते हो. लुक एट योर हाउस एज वेल. व्हेन यू स्टार्टिंग योर बिल्डिंग ऑफ योर हाउस, बहुत ज्यादा लोग इन्वॉल्व होते हैं, जस्ट लाइक एनी प्रोडक्ट, बिजनेस और अ सर्विस. The start of everything is so fuzzy, so unstructured, and very ambiguous. So, tab I guess design sprints are most ideal. That's where you should be doing a sprint.
So, do you mean to say that people cannot use design sprint if they cannot have time for a week? Is it really necessary for anyone to run their sprints within a week in order to get the same outputs or the outcomes that they're expecting, the validation that they're looking for?
Yes, if only all that you know is the design sprint process.
Okay.
लेकिन अगर आप उसको एकदम ध्यान से देखो, तो मैंने आगे भी बोला, मतलब previously when I said that it's a 5-day and it is a coming together of strategy, product and marketing. So आपको, आपके पास उतनी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है कि वो डिजाइन स्प्रिंट के प्रोसेस को आप तोड़ सकते हो. दैट इज अ प्रोडक्ट, इट्स अ रेसिपी which can be broken down into multiple smaller workshops.
Examples, if you could provide some.
So for example, आपको आपके पास एक टीम है, आपके पास एक ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग प्रोडक्ट है, उसमें आपको फॉर एग्जांपल सिर्फ उसकी डिज़ाइन इम्प्रूव करनी है बिकॉज आपको एंगेजमेंट बढ़ानी है. दैट इज द थिंग. नाउ उसके लिए जरूरी नहीं है कि पूरा पूरा डिज़ाइन स्प्रिंट वाला वर्कशॉप आप स्टैक करो 5 दिन. वो वर्कशॉप 4 घंटे में भी हो सकता है, वो वर्कशॉप 2 घंटे में भी हो सकता है. अब 4 घंटे में यू जस्ट हैव टू गेट clear definition of what is the problem and just use 2 to 3 exercises from the design sprint. So I won't go into the details of the exercises, but every day of the sprint is exercise. Lightning demos ho gaya ya creating concepts ya crazy eights. These are exercises that can be used to create small ideation or group brainstorming sessions to solve problems.
Okay, that makes sense. And to just dive a little bit further, why do people run sprints for the first place?
Uh, well, it actually boiled down to problem solving. There are only two things: a problem and a solution. Right? For example, if you look at the digital space or physical space of businesses, uh, कुछ लोग होते हैं जो ऑब्जर्व करते हैं, राइट, ऑब्जर्व द प्रॉब्लम, लाइक जो जिनका काम है रिसर्च करना, ये डिस्कवरी, कि आप जाओ बाहर देखो कि चल क्या रहा है, राइट. यू ऑब्जर्व एंड यू आइडेंटिफाई कि यार कुछ तो है जो ये लोग गलत कर रहे हैं या सही से नहीं कर रहे, एंड देयर इज अ पोटेंशियल कि यहाँ एक सोल्यूशन आ सकता है, राइट. सो इफ यू लुक एट इट फ्रॉम अ वेरी हाई लेवल लेंस, अब ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के लिए आपको आइदर यू कैन गो अलोन, मतलब खुद कर सकते हो, या तो यू विल गो एंड टॉक टू योर टीम कि यार एक पोटेंशियल अपॉर्चुनिटी दिख रही है, दैट इज समथिंग दैट वी थिंक दैट अ सोल्यूशन कैन बी ऑफर्ड, मार्केट में ऐसा कुछ लॉन्च कर सकते हैं जिससे बिजनेस बन सकेगा. अब what is the next best thing you can do? You'll get along in a group, एक बड़ी सी मीटिंग होगी, वहाँ बातें, राइट, you'll discuss. फिर वो मीटिंग का एंड क्या होगा? यूजुअली यू वुडंट कम टू अ टेंजिबल आउटकम, या अलाइनमेंट नहीं होगी, क्योंकि अभी मैं इनिशिएटर हूँ तो ऑलरेडी मेरे पास आई एम इन लव विद द आइडिया. तो अगर वहां से कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस आ रहे हैं मेरी टीम से, आई वुड सिंपली पुश देम बैक. व्हाई? बिकॉज आई एम द लाउडेस्ट पर्सन इन द रूम. और ये this is the reality of business operations. Every time you want to solve a problem, what happens is you come together as a group and you do meetings. And meetings, what they do is they are very sticky. They are really good at reproducing themselves. A meeting can end up spawning other meetings, right? So it's just a spillover of rescheduling of those meetings. And then there were smart people who thought that rather than having a meeting, अगर बातें ही करनी है तो बात, ये सारी बातों को स्ट्रक्चर किया जा सकता है. इट कैन बी मोर कंस्ट्रक्टिव, इट कैन बी मोर डेमोक्रेटिक इन नेचर, इट कैन बी मोर व्हाट डू यू से चाइल्ड लाइक, कि आप यू आर इंडिविजुअली एक्सप्लोरिंग योर क्रिएटिव एक्सप्रेशंस, और फिर एवरी आइडिया कैन स्टैंड आउट. तो दैट इज द वर्कशॉपिंग फॉर्मेट ऑफ डूइंग और अप्रोचिंग अ प्रॉब्लम. तो इसीलिए वर्कशॉप्स.
Okay.
And then of course the design sprint. So the difference between a design sprint and a workshop is this, that why design sprint in the first place is that it's a structured format to tangibilizing conversations जो वैसे भी होते हैं around any problem. अब solution चाहिए तो वापस वही meetings करो, उससे अच्छा workshop. तो it's now there are people who must have been to workshops which are more like monologues, but ये अलग है.
And this was about कि you have facilitated so many workshops and design sprints in the past, and people who have experienced those has a first-hand experience about how they feel and experiencing the results and the outcomes that it produces.
Oh, yeah.
But what if someone is really new and do not really understand the concept of design sprints or workshops? Where can they start before jumping into a sprint, learning more about it? In order to know of what they are, how they work, and how they feel?
I guess for someone who doesn't know much about the design sprint process or workshops in general, a very good starting point for them is to, like, these are not skills. अभी मैं बोलूँगा तो लगेगा कि यार what is this, but this is the reality, right? कि फर्स्ट ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ वर्कशॉप एक सीन है. It's actually a scene of people. Uh, it's like direction. आपको एक सीन सेट करना एक मूवी का एक पार्ट है, राइट? इट इज सिमिलर. लोगों को एक साथ आना है, देयर आर मल्टीपल रोल्स दे विल प्ले. लोगों को पॉइंट ए से पॉइंट बी तक जाना है इन अ वर्कशॉप. आपको ये करना है, बस आपको ये अनेबल करना है और कुछ नहीं. फॉर दैट टू हैपन, what you have to do is read some books. Design Sprint itself, the workshop book which we have over here, it is by Pamela Hamilton, one of the craziest books about what workshopping is. why ये चीज़ें मतलब why ये चीज़ें ज़्यादा juicy है, like compared to meetings. Why are this more stickier than meetings? And you have to really get good at communicating and understanding how we approach problems.
Okay.
That's it. Like उसके अलावा there is nothing. The best thing about facilitation or workshopping as a gig is वो आप अकेले कर सकते हो. यू डोंट हैव टू प्रेशराइज योर सेल्फ विथ हैविंग टू स्टार्ट अप बिजनेस या कोई प्रोडक्ट बनाना है या कोई सर्विस डिजाइन करनी है. नो, एन इंडिविजुअल. इट्स लाइक stand up comedians doing their gigs. A workshopper is just doing the gig. You can get paid for such things. It's just monetization of two most important skills. First, your ability to read, and second, your ability to pursue things that are unsexy. अगर सारे ये direction में जा रहे हैं, facilitation is this direction. It's the opposite of it because it's boring, it is unsexy, because it is mostly about things that people don't value much, but they will need it every now and then. So that is where someone can start.
And also, by being a part of various workshops and sprints in the past, there are few things or exercises that I personally use a lot in my work, and it comes very handy. Two of which is lightning demos. That's, I think, not only me but most of the participants who walk away participating in design sprints happen to use that as a tool in their everyday life to ideate, to get inspiration from people or companies, simply who have solved the same problems in new ways. So just not creating something new, but stealing from the best, making your own solution and putting it out in the world. And another one was sailboat. So sailboat is something that I love, absolutely love, during retrospects. So when if there is a meeting or a project that the team is doing, and you really want to retrospect about the things that worked and that did not work, the entire team just comes under the same room, and you simply just cast your thoughts on the board or paper, with things that really worked and that did not work, and then moving forward from them, just working on the things that did not work. Also, it helps you put your focus and attention on things that worked, because that's the biggest part. When a team comes together, they also need to know of what's working, the direction that they're moving, and working on things that needs improvement.
Amazing things, amazing exercises. Sailboat is apparently not a part of the design sprint process, and that's what we were talking, right? So you don't have to use the design sprint completely. You can just use the principles. The principles is that you have to be on the lookout for good frameworks. ऐसी चीजें जो आपको a snippet from anything, and that's why I said that reading books is important. Because if you read practical books, like for example Blue Ocean Strategy or The Power of Moments, things that I have picked up, like when I say it is a mixture of three things, basically everything is either business strategy, is either product design, and then the product engineering and the marketing itself. All that is there to a business is people who build it and people who promote it. That's it. And design sprint is that framework that you can use across. And उसमें से जो निकलती हुई exercises है, which is something like the retrospective as well, with the sailboat, things that are moving us forward, things that are holding us down. You just have ये चीजें बोलनी होती है, हम बोलते नहीं. That's why just a conversation. It's just a tangible representation of a conversation that teams should be having.
True. The beauty of this exercise is also that not only teams, but that we have ourselves adopted
Yeah.
those frameworks and those exercises to reflect and evaluate our own lives and prioritize things that we really want to focus on.
Yeah.
But it's a it's just the application of these tools and the approach to work in general is far beyond our work, professional work, and it goes the user journey for that matter. It can simply be replicating your day
Yeah.
and identify problems which you are really unconscious about, that you don't really know. So for me, the application of sprints and workshops has gone way beyond work and has
Yeah.
a very big influence in our life, especially.
For sure, yeah, yeah. We used workshopping for our goal setting,
Yes,
yearly goal setting.
yes,
We did last year. We did one last year. We would be doing,
yes. A retrospect.
yes, a retrospect of the last year.
Yeah,
And it's a seasons, right? We do
yeah,
it Diwali to Diwali. So
yeah.
yeah, we are about time.
True.
Yeah.
Coming back to the applications of design sprints and workshoppings, could you shed some light on a few projects that you've worked on, and what kind of problems were you tackling in
Yeah.
those projects with workshopping?
So I have used principles of design sprint and have facilitated at least more than 12 to 13 workshops in the digital product space as of right now. So in total, I guess most of those workshop you were a part of it as well. We must have spent at least 300 hours of workshopping together, maybe. And some of the craziest things, outcomes is team alignment, right? And it is just a 1 day workshop. First day of the design sprint is itself is a team alignment workshop. सो एज अ टीम आपको कुछ परस्यू करना है फॉर 2 साल के लिए, आपको ओकेआरस बनाने हैं या गोल सेट करना है, टेक दैट, डू अ वर्कशॉप, यूर सेट. It is an alignment workshop. Day 1 and 2 combined is a strategy workshop. So alignment workshop we did with Logicman itself. Product strategy workshops we have done with contact book. We've done with Sync Signature, a part of it. So yes, we have done strategy workshop. We have we have facilitated design sprints for multiple products. I can't name all of them, but the Barista being one. Uh, there was something around the OKR space was one. Recently, we ran something in the Akal space is one. So we have been running design sprints. I individually have been facilitating those for alignment, team alignment, for learning about or validating a product. So learning whether this is something good enough to pursue. So इसमें पैसा डालना चाहिए नहीं डालना चाहिए, ये चीज़ बनानी चाहिए नहीं बनानी चाहिए. So product validation is one thing. Uh, goal setting, of course, for personal and professional. That is one thing. And business model design, I guess. These are the 4 things. These are the outcomes. So you can validate a business model, you can validate a product, service, or a business as a whole. You can get aligned as a team, and in general brainstorming or retrospective sessions जो होते हैं छोटे मोटे, you can do that as well. So yeah, I guess there's no confinement to what is possible.
Yeah.
I have been using in that context, but करने के लिए बहुत सारी चीज़ है.
There's one more context that might have just skipped your mind, but that was a workshop, 1 day workshop, which I was a part of, and we ran it for a manufacturing firm.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
helping them identify problems and ideate on those problems, coming up with the solutions with 3 people.
Yes.
2 out of which did not speak English, and we helped them identify the problems in their entire process, starting from sales to the
Yeah.
floor plan. And that is another context that where the application,
there's no boundary to it.
Yes.
Yes, in the manufacturing space, especially when we were talking about it, that everyone in the team should have that voice.
Yeah.
Just because they never get that opportunity to be a part of
Yeah.
it, just because sometimes they feel too introverted and too imposterish to raise their
Absolutely.
voice, workshop gives them that voice. Right?
Absolutely.
You don't have to have those conversations. And in fact, I remember about that workshop, the manufacturing workshop, the best ideas came from people who are not
Yes.
really strong
On the floor.
on the
Yeah,
yeah,
people
they
from
were
the floor.
operating on the shop
Yeah.
floor, but not strong, not having a good communication
Yes.
skill, especially the language barrier. But yeah, workshopping can break language barriers as
True. I can vouch one for that because I have first-hand experience the power
well.
of workshop. Being an introvert of the other category that you're talking about, I might not really feel comfortable to speak and put my ideas on the table in a room filled with a lot of people, and rather would allow the loudest one to move forward. But with workshopping, my approach to work and the confidence in my own ideas and my own solutions has increased a lot more, because when you go anonymous and no
Yeah.
one knows who's done what, your ideas, you also hold the power to put your ideas out. Also, people coming together and aligning on them, that's
Yeah.
when you truly feel and experience the power of letting all the voices in the room an equal right to be
Yeah.
on there, having
Yeah.
a chance, standing a chance to be executed on.
And the most important factor of it all is the speed at which
Mm.
work gets done. Ideally, like scientifically, we are not wired to work for more than 3 hours 53 minutes or 47 minutes or something of that shape, and that calls for workshopping into play, right? So if you want, and we have forgot the core essence of behaving like amateurs and being childish, you don't get that opportunity, right? And when you look at their environments, when you look at small kids playing, there's no hierarchy,
Yeah.
there is no veto power
Yeah.
trying to pull the group down.
Yeah.
Every idea gets an equal chance.
You
You
build
don't
on.
you don't have to justify
Yes.
कि भाई ये चीज मैंने क्यों लिखी.
Yeah.
You don't have to say ये चीज मेरी है, ये
Yeah.
idea मेरी है. You don't have to
Yeah.
shout. You just have to put
It's a
stuff on the
space
wall.
where people actually build on each other's ideas.
Yes, it's a place where you express
Yes.
yourself
Yes.
and build on each other's idea to come to a cumulative piece of solution, which is eventually a combination of everyone's hard work. And as a result, that wins.
True.
कोई एक ही बंदे की या एक ही इंडिविजुअल की आइडियाज को ज्यादा एक्सपोजर मिलना इज ऑल्सो हार्मिंग, राइट? यहाँ इनफैक्ट एवरीवन हैज कंट्रीब्यूटेड टू द सोल्यूशन. इट्स लाइक द होल टीम लिफ्टिंग अ ट्रॉफी.
I think if we sit to talk about sprints and workshopping,
Yeah.
we can talk about it the entire day. The influence or the way it has changed the way we work now,
Yeah.
and the way the ideas have been executed and ideas have been discovered, solutions have been discovered. But if I will try to do another episode
For
surely
sure.
for with a practical application with exposure to certain tools that people can actually take away and use in their everyday work, which are easy to use. You don't need a professional degree. However, if someone wants to learn facilitation or get serious about the facilitation game, workshopping game, where should they start from? Is there a professional degree? I know one which that you have taken. So what are the resources that they can use to develop that skill?
So I've already talked about the books.
Yeah.
Reading is going to be really important. Reading about business model, reading about product strategy or business strategy, books around those topics. So I can give a list of books which have actually helped me, because it's important to understand that the best part of being a facilitator is you don't have to know everything. You just have to direct people into thinking about business strategy. You just have to set the scene कि भाई एक बंदा है, चार गुंडे, बंदे को मार बस. That is.
Why do you come up with such examples even in a design sprint?
But just an example, right? Like you are setting the scene. So यहाँ एक problem है, उसको एक strategically angle से सोचो and come out with solution. So you have to understand something, and उसके लिए books is one. Course मैंने खुद किया है about design sprint, about workshopper. So there are online communities, one run by Agent Smart. They have this crazy resource called workshopper.com and facilitator.com. Plus there's something called Sessions Lab. So Sessions Lab is a repo of batshit crazy exercises, energizers, warm-ups. So you'll find all sorts of workshopping tools there, like things, exercises that you can pick to design a session. So Sessions Lab is that. Workshopper.com, you can learn the fundamentals, the basics of workshopping. Courses, I don't know if it's like founder mode, like we recently talked about. I don't know if there are courses, but there are, of course, companies who run boot camps for facilitators.
Okay.
So you should check out uh, facilitator.com and workshopper.com. You'll get everything. Agent Smart's YouTube channel. You can learn everything that is there, to starting with the journey of being a facilitator or a workshopper.
Okay. Okay. I think that's quite it. And moving to the last bit, if anyone wants to find you or connect with you, where can they find you online?
We have been doing this for a long time. Yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn. These days, we are also active on YouTube. So on BNB podcasts, and of course, I write on Substack, and I can also be found on theharshilpatel.com. So people can contact me, write me, whatever ideas they have. If you want me to cover anything other than what we have been doing so far, please shoot us an email, and we will try to cover that topic. Where can people find you online, Jan?
They can find me on LinkedIn. They can find me on Instagram. So those are the two places that I am currently active on. I keep jumping platform to platform depending on what phase I am in that moment, and I try to see what's going on, do a little bit of research, come back, and then work on certain things, and then again go back somewhere else. So right now I'm active on Instagram and LinkedIn.
We have to do another episode because we didn't talk about customer discovery sprints at all.
Yes, that will be
is,
another
yeah,
episode.
that will be another episode.
Yes.
So there are two things: design sprints and customer discovery sprints. We'll talk about that soon.
Okay.
Anything else before we end?
No, I think that's it. It's quite hot. The weather is great,
Yeah,
and we've
it's
got
bright.
yes, it's bright. So yep.
Oh, and by the way, Sprint is actually a book. So yeah, that's by Jake Knapp. It's not design sprint, it's sprint, but he refers to as design sprint. So yeah, that if that helps.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Cheers. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.